poppin' homies? It's your favorite homegirl, Gossip Girl here, and today I want to talk to you about a tragedy that happened with 3 people, and this tragedy ties in and it connects to only one person that did this. Now, who's all involved? A mom and her 8-year-old daughter were found tied and murdered. They was tied to the bed and they were murdered. Okay, and then a young lady, a student, was found dead on her porch in St. Louis. So we're going to get into that and we're going to find out who did these murders, okay? So the police have arrested a suspect in 3 murders at 2 different locations. And it's sad to say an 8-year-old girl is among the victims. Now, according to NBC News, 26-year-old Victoria Menisco, a student, was found fatally shot on the front porch of her home in St. Louis on Tuesday night. The next afternoon, Terry Bankhead's concerned mother went to her home about 8 miles away from where Menisco was found dead. Right? Now, there, the woman made a horrific discovery. Her daughter and her 8-year-old granddaughter, Daniela Edwards, were fatally shot, okay, and reportedly tied to a bed in the home. The murders appear to be connected somehow, though it is not known if the victims are, the separate murder scenes had any relationship to each other. Okay. Now, in a statement obtained by NBC News, St. Louis police said that the 18-year-old Prinshun McClain has been charged with all 3 murders. Now, the suspect is also charged with 1 count of burglary and 4 counts of armed criminal action. Authorities have not yet commented on a possible motive. All this killing is it's just unbelievable. And it was said here by Terry Bankhead's mother, it's just so unreal. But now I have a little relief because they caught him. And that's what she told to the reporters after learning of the arrest. Like, why would you do that? What have these people done to you that you want to, that you want to do this? And you murdered a child. You murdered 2 adults and a child. Like, come on. Now, looking into the investigation into the murders of 3 people, including a mother and child, they all led to an 18-year-old suspect. Right? So, the police sources have not said anything. They do not believe Prinshun McClain knew his alleged victims well. And when a suspect has little to no ties to their victims, the investigation becomes all that much harder. Okay? Because you're going to want, if you don't know them, why did you do this? Now, this time, they had a cooperative communities that was equipped with security cameras and in their favor to help catch the type of suspect who doesn't cross their paths often. Right? And which is a spree kill. Now, the Bureau of Justice Statistics defines a spree killer as someone involved in killings at 2 or more locations with almost no time break in between the murders. Now, it says here the nightmare began at 5:45 a.m. on Wednesday after police discovered the body of 26-year-old Tori Menisco on her front porch in her neighborhood on the south side. Now, in looking through the surveillance footage, detectives found in the neighborhood they saw a man follow the victim to her home just before midnight on Tuesday and then run away. So they believe she was likely shot just before midnight Tuesday. Her friends and family told the police she complained of a man acting strangely towards her on the bus, which she rode regularly, mostly to participate in theater productions because she didn't own a car. So that means that this man was following her and he was like messing with her and bothering her while she was taking her bus rides, to and from probably her theater. So he'd been watching her for a while. Meniska was a student at Crossroads College Preparatory School, according to a memorial her brother Tyler wrote on social media. The sudden, senseless, absolute tragedy of her loss has struck all of us through the heart, and we as family are grieving her passing deeply. Then at about 3 p.m. on Wednesday, and about 10 miles to the north, Terry Ward went to go check on her 27-year-old daughter and 8-year-old granddaughter at their home in the Fairgrounds neighborhood on the city's north side, and found them tied up and shot to death. Oh, I tell you, all this killing gotta stop, man. Oh, She discovered the bodies of her daughter and granddaughter lying side by side in her daughter's bed when she pulled back the comforter. She said it sounded like a bunch of shell casings hit the floor, and she realized they were dead. My heart goes out to the families that, that's going through this. And this boy is 18 years old, and he's out here killing people. What was the reason for this? I'm glad they caught him and they locked him up. But what's the reason for killing people you don't even know? Okay, you shouldn't be killing nobody anyway. Ward says she ran down the stairs in her daughter's apartment building and saw McClain standing in the doorway to the apartment where he was living with an aunt. She screamed, "Call the police! Call the police! Somebody call the police!" McClain looked at her and said something like, "You want me to call the police?" She told him, yes, call the police. So he did. Now, wait a minute, doesn't that sound kind of weird? Now, I'm going to back up and read that to you again. The mother of the 27-year-old daughter and her 8-year-old granddaughter, Daniela, she ran down the steps, right, in her daughter's apartment building, and she saw McClain standing in the doorway to the apartment where he was living with an aunt. So he's standing in the doorway, sees her come running out, call the police, as she's screaming, "Call the police." Okay? And he looks at her and said, "You want me to call the police?" And she said, "Yes, call the police." And so he did. That right there, that's some bold stuff right there. He don't care. He lived right downstairs with her aunt. And you see this mother coming from upstairs, screaming and hollering because she found her daughter and her granddaughter dead in the bed, laying side by side, shot and tied. And you standing there? It's like, I don't know, like he got off on that. That's sick to me. Oh, Lord. And she said he stayed at the scene and talked with the detectives when they arrived, telling them he had not heard anything. She thought it was strange how he said that she thought it was strange how he said that when she knew there were multiple gunshot wounds. Ward told Townsend her daughter had only lived in the apartment for about 6 months and had only mentioned McClain to her briefly, saying he once tried to flirt with her. She asked him his age, and he said 18, and she told him she was too old for him. So this boy didn't like rejection, okay? Because probably the girl on the bus rejected him as well, and he didn't like that. And so when when this young lady, when he was flirting with her, and she said, "Oh, I'm too old for you," that didn't sit right with him. So he doesn't like rejection. And so I bet you that's probably why he murdered the girls. But the 8-year-old daughter had nothing to do with that. But once a killer is always a killer, right? So he got some deep-rooted issues. Well, But soon, similarities between the physical characteristics of McClain and the man they saw following Menisco along Dover Street on the city's south side the night before started popping up in the minds of the homicide detectives working the two scenes. In the throes of her grief, Ward says she also noticed her daughter's 3 TV sets were sitting outside the door to the apartment where McClain was living. Then ballistics evidence from both scenes matched. Police tracked McClain down to an address in Granite City, where they found him with a 16-year-old girlfriend. Well, we don't know if she's a girlfriend, but they found him with a 16-year-old girl and arrested him on unrelated charges as they worked to get the case together to apply for warrants against him with the circuit attorney Kim Gardner's office. Late Thursday, prosecutors issued 3 counts of first-degree murder, armed criminal action, and 1 count of burglary. Now, this isn't the first time McClain has been accused of violence. McClain pleaded guilty in June to a second-degree robbery for an incident that happened in Richmond Heights in August of 2020. Now, in that case, police said McClain pulled a woman's hair and punched her in the head before taking her cell phone outside the University Club Tower office building along Brentwood Boulevard. So he was outside the University Club Tower office building along Brentwood Boulevard. A security guard saw the attack and intervened, according to court documents. The man gave the cell phone back to the victim and ran away from the scene, but officers found him and he admitted to pulling the victim's hair and taking her phone. Surveillance cameras captured the attack, according to the documents. He was sentenced to 5 years of probation and sent to the aggressive offender program with 8 months of shock time in the Department of Justice Services. Now, he was released after giving credit for time served. And look, he gets back on the street and look what he does. The officers I spoke to about McClain were trying to see if he is connected to any other acts of violence that didn't come together for the investigators as quickly as these cases did. Sometimes it takes a while to get a win, and sometimes it does. This guy is off the chain. He had the nerve to stand there and watch the mother run down the steps, screaming and hollering about call the police, all the while he knew he did what he did. Okay? And then you got the girl's TV sets outside the door. Okay? I feel as if he killed these women because of rejection. That's what I think. My heart goes out to both family members. Okay? This is a tragedy. And that, oh my God, the little 8-year-old girl, she wouldn't, he's a monster. But I'm glad he's off the street. They caught him. He's off the street. And he would not be attacking and killing anyone for a very long time. His life is over. All right, you guys, that's all I have for today. So I'll talk to you later.